welcome. I'm your host, Leslie-Ann Samuel. I'm here today with Patty Eljaiek. So let's have a little background information on the Huntington Arts Council. What is the Huntington Arts Council?
The Huntington Arts Council is an arts council in Suffolk County. Mm-hmm. We've been in existence since 1963. Okay. We are primarily an advocacy and support organization for artists and arts and culture organization. We're also the official collaborator with the town for arts and cultural events. And since 1979, we have been the New York State Council on the Arts regrant site for Nassau and Suffolk County, and we are still the primary state-funded fund regrant site for Nassau and Suffolk County.
Okay, and how did you get involved in that, Patty?
With the Huntington Arts Council?
Yeah.
Well, I'm an artist myself. I was also a teaching artist. I was also a grants coordinator. And a few years, maybe almost 10 years ago now, no, actually, yeah, almost 10 years ago, I guess, I met my now husband, and he lived in Westbury. He's a jazz musician, and we decided to become part of another arts council, and we started coming out here a lot. I lived in Queens, and we started coming out here a lot to Long Island and getting to know all the arts councils in the area. And Huntington, the town, I loved it. It was always amazing. It's such a rich in arts and culture.
Yes, it is.
And I loved the mission of the Huntington Arts Council. We do have programs, but we don't do programming.
Okay.
So we have very specific programs like the education program Journey. We have our exhibition program, of course, in our gallery. We have the grant program. We have professional development. So it was really more about, like I said, supporting artists. And I felt as an artist myself, that was something that was really needed.
That's excellent. The arts aren't just about creativity, they're also an economic engine for Long Island. Can you talk a little bit about how the arts contribute to the local economy?
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, Long Island Arts Alliance just did an amazing study about the specific impact the arts and culture experiences have on the Nassau and Suffolk County economy. So everybody should really check that out because it's amazing. It's on their website. But specifically, so something that everyone should know is that Nassau and Suffolk County only receive 3% of all New York State's arts and cultural funding.
Oh.
Which is not a lot. So arts, a very simple example of how it drives the economy is whether someone is from the 5 boroughs or from Nassau or Suffolk and they go out to an experience, right, out here. They'll go to an exhibit or they'll go to a concert or they'll go to an arts festival. They don't just go to that place. They don't just buy that ticket just for that event.
Right.
After the event, maybe they'll go to dinner. Maybe they'll go shopping. Yeah. So I believe, and you'll have to check the website, the Long Island Arts Alliance website, but I believe that there's a range of spending for people in Nassau and Suffolk County when they come out specifically to an arts event between $30 and $60. They will spend in addition to what they spent going to the event if it's a paid event. And they spend it in the town where the event is. So the merchants, the restaurants, the stores, they're all benefiting from any arts and cultural activities that are going on in their town, which is a great question. I'm so glad you asked that.
Definitely. Very good. Why do you think it's so important for Long Island communities to have access to programs like these?
Well, besides the obvious one that the arts help enrich our lives, they're a means of expression, they're a means to learn through learn literacy and math and core subjects through the arts as well, and also assist with our mental health, all of that. It is also a fundamental, I mean, as an artist myself, I know this to be true. Creativity is a fundamental part of our existence.
Yes.
As you go back as cave paintings, leaving your mark, on the wall, everything is creativity. So something that is so fundamental to being a human being, is important. It's not just about making time for it. It's about finding it everywhere. Yeah. So by being able to fund artists and fund arts organizations for the work that they do, we are giving them access. We're giving the community access to all that range of experience that the arts can give you.
Yes. And is that for both adults and children?
The funding that we do?
Yeah.
No, the funding that we do is for adults. You must be 18 years or older. You can be an individual artist. You can be an arts and cultural organization. We have different kinds of grants.
Okay.
We're right now, last year we were able to offer an artist fellowship and a general operating support grant for smaller organizations, and that is something that we were able to do because we were very lucky to get funding directly from the House and the Senate legislature of New York State.
Oh, excellent.
It was very exciting. So we were able to create these opportunities that we knew were really needed in Nassau and Suffolk County, specifically the Artist Fellowship. It is for, and we'll be able to offer that in 2026, by the way, as well.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're very excited about that. The Artist Fellowship in particular is just for artists of all disciplines to continue to create their work, to grow their creative practice. So we had 122 applications the first year, last year, and we were able to fund 40 artist fellows. And we're really excited because now those artist fellows, we're providing opportunities for them to collaborate with other organizations, with other artists, and we're really seeing how we're building community.
Yes.
You know.
I like that, building community.
Yes.
Your specific role as Long Island Grants for the Arts Coordinator, can you just explain a little bit more about the support that you can give personally to the artists?
Absolutely. And we're very unique in that way. Really, the Long Island Grants for the Arts program is the biggest part of my job is mentorship.
Right.
So myself and my assistant, Cassandra Matthews, we were the grants team, and along with our executive director, Kieran Johnson, we mentor the applicants that are going to apply. So what does that look like? We have ways for you to schedule calls. So we've streamlined the process a little bit because grants can be daunting. Applications can be daunting, and people can be overwhelmed. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to streamline the process in terms of technology. We also have dedicated hours to call and speak to us specifically about the project you'd like to apply with. You have a chance to send us your draft so we can look at it. And while we cannot help you write it, we certainly cannot, but we guide you to let you know if something fits the criteria. How can it be a more competitive grant? We do have a little time with our micro grant, which we have right now, which is a programming grant for $2,500 for programming. Because it's a rolling submission, we're able to, if we receive the submission early enough before the deadline, we can look at it and see, can review it and say, oh, you know what, there's information missing here, or this isn't clear. Go back to the applicant and say, hey, these are our suggestions. If you would like to tweak it and resubmit it, we'll hang on to it. When you send in the new one, we'll replace it and we'll move it forward to the panelists who actually make the funding decisions. So it is a very hands-on process, and it's not found in other grant opportunities, not many. Yeah,
but you do take the artists step by step through the application process.
Pretty much. I mean, we have a really robust website that, thanks to our marketing director, Maureen Starr, we have an amazing website that really gives you all of the information you need to get you started. I always say I've never been accused of not giving enough detail, sometimes too much. But once that's their first stop. And then from there, we help them.
That's wonderful. So can you share a few success stories from the artists or projects that have made a meaningful impact?
Wow, there are a lot, obviously, as you can tell. I think I think, first of all, just generally speaking, when we are administering the statewide community re-grant program for the NSCA, for New York State Council on the Arts, we do give out arts education grants in schools, which is fantastic, because many of these grants do teach core skills, core subject skills through the arts, which is amazing. We also have so that's direct impact, right? You can see it with the students and everything. And some of our grantees from that particular program have been doing this work in schools for decades. So it's an amazing collaboration between the administration, the district, and the individual artist. We had, when we started the micro grant a couple of years ago, we had a filmmaker who was the first, Kevin Lopez. He's a filmmaker, South Shore Films, and he was one of the first micro grant awardees. And we noticed after he won that grant, and of course with all our media posting and his postings and all of his sharing of the fact that he was one of the first recipients of the micro grant, we began to get filmmakers all over Long Island.
That's very good.
Where we were like, we didn't even realize there were these many filmmakers all over Long Island. And of course, subsequently, we have funded quite a few filmmakers. And it's really made a difference for them, because it has really enabled them to screen their films in theaters, to bring, their vision, whether it's a documentary or a feature film or a short, to the community. So I think those are two examples of some really places where we saw a really immediate, clear, deep impact. But there are so many. I mean, everyone benefits from the very good programs that we fund. So the demand is clearly there. Oh, the demand is absolutely there. We give out, historically, we've given out anywhere from, we've on average, anywhere from 150, about 90 to 150, grants per year. But last year, we gave out 126 just in 1 year because of the Artist Fellowship. So, and now the applicants are double that. So, the applicants, the demand is there. And we always say, even though we know the need is there and the demand has grown, right, historically since 1979, people still don't know about us, which is why I'm here. So we really encourage all artists, arts organizations, arts and culture organizations to apply. A grant is not a guarantee, but it's kind of like the lottery. If you're not in it, you can't win it. Right, exactly. Definitely. So, you have to apply, show the needs, so that, again, our funders, the state, see that there is a tremendous need in Nassau and Suffolk County, and they will hopefully rise to meet it.
Okay. And lastly, Patty, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Apply for a grant. Apply for a grant. You may not get it. That's okay. You will gain skills. You'll gain knowledge. We also do professional development for grantees. We do professional development for all artists, by the way, and all arts organizations. Also, you can find that information on our website, huntingtonarts.org. But in terms of the grant process, we do skill building workshops where you learn skills that not only help you with our grants, but can help you with other funding sources. So, just being aware of what we do and being a part of it will absolutely, help you to get that support that you need. And what kind of skills would you be? So great, I'm glad you asked. So in particular, community engagement is one example. So community engagement is a really is found in almost every grant application for programming, right? What is your community engagement? What are your community outreach strategies? This can be very difficult definitely for individual artists, but for organizations as well. There's organizations that are trying to grow, obviously, and sustain their audience. How do they reach out to the community to do this? So we just had a skill building session this week that actually was open to everyone, and it's free. It was at our gallery on Main Street in Huntington, and I had a panel of amazing former grantees that have really all scored very high on their grants for community outreach. I had a teaching artist who worked directly with the schools and was talking about community outreach in terms of the school districts and all of that. And I had a grant writer who's written grants, and her specialty is community outreach and strategies.
Okay.
And also I had the director of the biggest food pantry in Nassau and Suffolk County that does arts programming.
Yes.
And talking about how she finds artists and who she likes to collaborate with to do the programming for her community. So, and it was amazing. It was a great night. And everyone really walked away with some really important information that I know is going to find its way into their grant proposals for 26.
Yeah. And just for my knowledge, what are some of the strategies that you guys use to reach?
Well, collaborating with other organizations.
Yes.
Collaborating with building relationships, really. It's about building relationships with the community that you wish to engage.
Okay.
So, for example, people always think, well, arts and culture is one thing, social services are one thing, government entities are one thing. When it comes to art, they all can collaborate.
Yeah.
So one of my one of the first initiatives that I really wanted to start when I first started this job was to start making connections, really more connections. We already had them, but more connections between service organizations and community organizations and artists and arts organizations. Because let's say you're trying to reach youth, you're trying to reach kids. Do you have a relationship with a school? Do you have a relationship with a community organization that works with a youth group, right? Because if you do, now they know you, you know them. You can ask them, what kind of programming would you like?
Yes.
What do you need? And you can tailor it to what their community is looking for. So something like that that's really personal and getting to know everyone, the communities that you want to engage with is really important.
That's wonderful. Well, Patty, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm your host, Leslie-Ann Samuel, and we'll be back with another segment. Thank you.